What's up, everybody? The Crab Gamer here. Thanks, everybody that's going to join me live or that is going to watch this after it's all said and done. Um, when I hit 6,000 subscribers, I did a video saying, hey, ask Crab Gamer anything, and you guys responded pretty well. The video has a ton of questions, so I think I'm going to dive right into the questions and see what we have. I usually don't read a lot of the questions beforehand. I just more or less like to shoot from the hip. I know I usually get some trolls and stuff like that too, and I answer pretty much everything to the best that I can. Let's start it off here. Cleve Rowe 941 says, who should we talk to about the Kingdom Hearts collection? Goal to get both Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 on Xbox 360. There's this guy, I think his name is Sora Keyblade. He's heading up that whole petition thing for the remakes and things like that. That's one instance where it probably makes sense to have, like I've never played any of the Kingdom Hearts games. I own them on PS2, but I have never played them. I wouldn't mind them coming to Xbox One or 360 or whatever in kind of a HD fashion. But yeah, there is a petition actually, and this guy actually lists it below that comment. So yeah, I think the first three questions, or the newest ones, are actually about that. So yeah, you guys can check it out. Microbox of X says, congrats, crap. You just keep racking them up. You deserve every one of them. Thanks, bro. If you guys haven't checked out Microbox of X, his channel is really cool. He's really British and has a really cool channel. Does a lot of interesting stuff, pro Xbox stuff. If you guys are looking for that, really cool dude. Ernie Lamas says, do you think Microsoft will incorporate the avatars more like they did with the 360? I might be wrong, but it seems like their only purpose is for gamer picks. Who knows? I know that the avatars and the whole situation like that on 360 was made by Rare. They pretty much invented it. There are the avatars on the Xbox One. Like my gamer picture is the avatar. I'm not sure if they're going to do like the whole avatar system thing. I don't know. I wouldn't mind it though. I kind of like that, and I hope they do like the premium background and stuff like that. I missed that, so hopefully they do. Flygon says, what game do you look forward to? Man, I'm looking forward to a lot of games. I guess next up would be Destiny, then Forza Horizon 2, and Dragon Age Inquisition, Sunset Overdrive, Halo Master Chief Collection, Assassin's Creed Unity, Alien Isolation. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to a lot this year. Flygon also asks, what does MOH stand for? Mercenaries of Honor. I know a lot of people think it means Medal of Honor or whatever, but it doesn't. It's Mercenaries of Honor. And we actually shortened that up after we left Star Wars Battlefront to it's just the MOH regulators. I like that. I like the regulator aspect. People. It's just something that I was into. So I just MOH regulators, or some people just call us. It's always funny when people call us Mo, but yeah. Bob Dablo says 6,000 subscribers, LOL, 10 million PS4 and growing at a rate of 3 to 1. Ha ha ha. Cool, man. I hope you see a big chunk of money from those PS4 sales. Ripa Moromi says, do you think Sony is lying about their sales? I personally do, because how is Titanfall the most sold game if Sony has sold 10 million to consumers around the world and doesn't have a game that can top Titanfall sales? I don't think that they can lie about the sales. You can say, last generation Sony used ship to consumer with PS3. They used that with Vita. I think they legitimately have probably 10 million sales, but you have to take into account the almost 80 countries that they're available in. So I think that's a tremendous feat. Congratulations to them. I think that also, it's good that the industry is thriving all around. Resolved MC says, do you like Halo 4? Yeah, Halo 4 was my favorite Halo. Absolutely loved it. It was awesome. Let's see. That one fool says, I'm liking the content so far, man. Got any news about the Silent Hill demo coming to the Xbox One? What about the actual game? I hope it's multiplat like the others. I would love to play it. I seriously doubt, and that's not the demo. That actually has nothing to do with the game. That's just like this little teaser, I guess. And it actually has nothing to do with the actual game. From what I've heard, that the game is the actual game when it comes out, which they're saying maybe not till 2016 or later. It's going to be multi-platform, so I wouldn't worry about that. Let's see, Mega Pancake or Panchaki says, "Are you Frederick?" Yes, I'm Frederick from the Xbox One fan page. Almost 500,000 likes on that page. I am an admin there. Yeah. Let's see, Lil D or Ill D. Yo, crap, I never played Far Cry. I saw Far Cry 4 trailers and gameplay looks interesting. Is it worth it? I've already pre-ordered Sunset Overdrive, wondering if I should order Far Cry 4 as well. As the only thing holding me back is that I don't know about multiplayer. I love multiplayer, so Far Cry 4, yes or no? I'm not going to get Far Cry 4. I thought Far Cry 3 was a little bit tedious at times. The multiplayer seemed tacked on to that. But if you like Far Cry games, you might as well if you don't see anything else. But to me, there's a lot better looking games coming out this year. The Wordy U. He says, I keep seeing a couple people every now and then say that the Wii U is outselling the Xbox One. That's completely false. Just because the last sales number Microsoft released from months ago is around 5 million doesn't mean it's at 5 million anymore. People try the hardest to make the Xbox One look bad. I agree. That's one of those things it's best to, I think a few months ago I just got to the point where I stopped caring. A lot of people will try to draw you into that whole sales fanboy type thing when the bottom line is these aren't football teams or baseball teams going at it. As long as you're getting good games for the console you like, that's what should matter. Microsoft absolutely dominated, and especially in North America, everything last generation, but I never once bragged about it. I don't care. Having more sales or less sales doesn't make me enjoy or not enjoy my console any more or less. So it's just one of those things where people are going to keep bringing that up. So far, as according to Microsoft, it's successful. It's selling about 70% better than the 360 did in the same time. It's like third or fourth all time for 9 months in. So I think it's doing quite well. It doesn't have to do as well as the PS4 to be successful. People are trying to judge it against the console that happens to be the best selling within the first 9 months of all time, which is kind of stupid to do for numerous reasons. But don't get into that whole sales game. I think that's kind of stupid. Let's see. Old school Sony fan says, my question is obvious. You dislike Sony a lot on your channel, at least according to your videos. It seems like this. So my question is, why continue to bring up Sony? It's just going to cause trouble. Why continue to bring up Sony? If this channel is mostly Xbox subscribers, gamers who game on Xbox, you might as well just focus the channel on Xbox only. Reviews and other stuff like that. It's obvious. Man, you repeat yourself a lot, dude. Look, I don't dislike Sony per se. I'm not a fan of the PS4 for obvious reasons. I think that Sony does a lot of underhanded things, but I don't market my channel towards any one faction. I'm pro Xbox, true, but I have a PlayStation 1, a PlayStation 2, a PlayStation 3, a PSP. I have a lot of Sony products. I don't think that I hate Sony. I think that they haven't given me a reason to buy a PS4, and because I will go out and deliver the bad news that the big sites won't, people get pissed off about it. So I'm not going to not report on the Sony stuff. I just pretty much do what I like. So, yeah, I just want to say, whatever. I mean, if you want to check out the videos or not, or if you want to watch the reviews or not, nobody's forced to watch my stuff. If you just like the reviews, then just watch the reviews. I have easy-to-find things set up on this channel so you can find them. I have like the playlists for each different thing. I have a PlayStation 3 playlist, an Xbox 360, an Xbox One, a Wii U, a Wii Retro. I have all these different playlists, so you can look at anything you want or not. You're not forced to watch one or the other or any. So yeah. Let's see. Darian Spivey says, congratulations on 6,000. Thanks, bro. Jerome Alex says, just debate the rated D. No thanks. Some fat Zazian says, congrats on 6K. What's your favorite Xbox One game right now? Or what upcoming games are you excited for? It's hard saying, man. I love so many of what's out there right now. I mean, I play Titanfall a lot. I play Killer Instinct a lot. Rise is awesome. Dead Rising 3. I like a lot of different games. I have, I think, something along the lines of, like 35 games, 34 games. I haven't played them all yet, but I have quite a bit, and I play a lot of Killer Instinct. I love that game. I'm really excited for Season 2. It's coming up, so yeah. The games that I'm excited for, the games that I announced earlier, Horizon 2, Destiny, things like that. Let's see, Prince Raw D says, Forza Horizon 2, let's do this crap. Are the other big gamers getting this also? I know I'm getting Horizon 2, and I'm going to do a car club. Thankfully, Horizon 2 has a 1,000-person car club, so I'm going to be able to fit a lot of the people from my channel on there if you want in. You'll just have to message me on Xbox Live. Let's see. Real Generator says, keep up the good work. Thanks. Next Gen Fan says, hey crap, are you looking forward to Call of Duty Advanced Warfare? And how long do you think they will keep making games for last gen consoles? Keep up the good work. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of excited after seeing Advanced Warfare. I'll probably get it, even though I haven't pre-ordered it yet. I think they're going to keep supporting the last gen consoles as long as they're successful. Particularly the Xbox 360 seems to do really well, and when you look at the fact that it's going to be the only last-gen console to get The Crew and the new Tomb Raider game, and it got Titanfall, and you know what I'm saying, it's still getting a lot of good games, so I think they're going to continue to support it as long as people are buying games for it. It's going to get Destiny, so I think at least a couple more years. Let's see. ATI 51 says, Crap Gamer Bro, the Rated D challenged you to a debate, and he's ready, but you said no. Okay, so if I said no, what are you asking me again for, man? What am I, like a little kid, or are you like a little kid and I'm your parent? You think you're going to keep bugging me and I'm going to be like, okay, sure thing. No, that's not how it works. I don't do debates on my channel. That's not the kind of channel that I have. I'm not interested in debating somebody about opinionated things like consoles. It's just opinion at the end of the day. I'm going to have my opinion. He's going to have his. My fans are going to think I won. His fans are going to think he won. It's just going to go round and round, and it's just a pointless waste of time. And I can think of a million other things that I would rather do, like actually gaming. Gaming. Let's see. Keyblade says, what do you think Microsoft should do to sell more consoles quickly? Recently, gamers have been saying it's okay to just be a PS4 owner. Let's see. Blah blah blah. Let's see. Well, I guess he's saying, people are saying that it's okay just to be a PS4 owner. He's wondering if it's okay just to be, I own an Xbox One and a Wii U for the next gen, and I'm pretty happy with that. I can play all the multi-platform games on my Xbox One. I can play all those exclusives. I can play all the exclusives on the Wii U. So I'm pretty happy with that. Until Sony gives me a reason to own a PS4, I have no reason to own one. I think everybody's different. If you're into what they're offering, then you can get them, but you can't play two consoles at once. I always found this problem last gen when I had a PS3, an Xbox 360, and a Wii, especially I think like 4 years in when the PS3 was finally getting some games. It was hard finding time to play games, and as a result, I have probably close to 200 360 games that I haven't played, about 75 PS3 games I haven't played, probably about 50 Wii games that I haven't played. So you can only play so much, so I think get what you want. If you see some things that interest you on more than one console, then get it. Let's see. Jeremiah Gordon says, congratulations on reaching another milestone. I have two questions. I love The Legend of Zelda not only for the gameplay, but it has some of the most beautiful music I have had the pleasure to listen to. Do you think too much emphasis is put on the graphics versus gameplay, story, music? What are some of the games that you like that has awesome music? I like The Legend of Zelda. I think that the music is a big part of it. If you look at games like Halo and, I think God of War and Zelda, those games have really good music and memorable music, and I think that's important. I think good graphics is important, But obviously, it's all equally important. You need a good mix of everything: gameplay, story, music, compelling characters, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I'd like Halo. I think probably has my favorite music. His second question is, do you think the cost of digital games will decrease in the future? Um, I don't think that they're going to decrease that much. Maybe the first party ones, but I just don't think that, this is the problem that these Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo are going to have. These brick and mortar stores, these retail stores are going to they have deals with these companies. Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo can't piss off these stores yet. They can refuse to sell their consoles, and then they're screwed. So you have to have a good mix, and you can't undercut the stores by that much. So that's what we're finding out right now. I think you might start to see a little bit of a, maybe a $10 difference, maybe 50 digitally, 60 new. I think you might start to see that a bit. Let's see. Conroy says, it brings me such joy to see Sony fanboys have fits of rage and attempt to defend their honor and completely embarrass themselves. Thanks for the great videos, Crappy. Yeah, no problem. I enjoy that too. I think it's funny. Let's see. Nibblo says, well done. Keep it up. Love the way you keep content coming and are ahead of the game. Your subs will keep going up, I'm sure. Nice work. Thanks. Conroy says again. He says, I've been with you since around 800 subs, and it's great to see your channel grow. You deserve it. Rack 'em up. Hey, thanks a lot. Hell, I remember back when I had 800 subs, I was pretty impressed with that. I was like, man, I'll be surprised if I get 1,000, and now here I am being all greedy and shit and wanting like 10,000 or whatever. So hopefully, I'm trying to get to 10,000 by the end of the year. So that's what I'm really, really hoping for. Let's see. In your video about death threats to The Witcher 3 devs, bro, I read it, and so have other people, and says nothing about death threats. Are you making this stuff up to hate Sony ponies? If you read the comments on that video, people are saying the same thing as me. What the fuck? There's no death threats. The death threats were on the official Twitter account, and that's why they had to respond. They're not gonna, I don't think, respond to the death threats, and there was also rape threats and things like that on the to the actress who plays Lara Croft in the new Tomb Raider game on Twitter as well, and there's been some other articles about that as well, so it's not anything made up. The Sony fans have really gone out of their way to act like douchebags, and I called them on it, and I wasn't the only one. Lots of sites and things like that have called them on there, so let's see. He says it's Phenoman619. He couldn't fit this in the other comment, so here it is. When you type in Crap Gamer on YouTube search bar, you get a bunch of videos bashing you. What's your opinion on that? People pretty much what people are bashing you about is how you make the smallest thing into something so big, such as the petitions. Always Xbox positive news, even though it's losing and Microsoft has done stupid stuff. I think that, I don't watch any of that stuff, you know what I mean? I don't care about what other people are saying about me. I think that a lot of people do care if it's them or whatever, but I'm really kind of laid back to really bother with it, so I don't really watch it. Sometimes people that I know will be like, hey, have you seen this video about you? And I'm like, no, I haven't. And then when you check out some of these bigger YouTubers or whatever, I'm more flattered than anything. When you got people with 30, 40, 50, 60,000 subscribers and they're watching my content and getting pissed off by what I'm saying, then I must be doing something right. And I think that it's awesome because they know who I am and I have no clue who they are. So I don't really particularly care about that stuff. I do the videos on what I feel like I should do them on. I'm not going to change that for anybody. I don't think that petitions are small things, to be honest with you. I think it's funny. If you guys think it's big, then it's big. If you think it's small, then it's small. But I think that it's odd to me and ironic, and maybe you'll agree with me, maybe you won't, that for as much hate as people put on the Xbox One, they sure as shit want the games, don't they? So I'll pretty much leave it at that. Let's see. Oh, this guy asked a whole shit ton of stuff. Let's see. He says, "What are your opinions on Tomb Raider being a timed exclusive? In your comments, you still think it's not coming to the PS4, and I don't know why you would think that, because Sony is selling PS4s like crazy, and it would be only advantageous for them to put it on PS4." I think that the last game, it sold like 4 or 5 million right away and didn't make any money. It wasn't until more recently that it actually made money. So I think that they probably weren't going to do much with it. I hear that Microsoft is, at the very least, co-publishing it and funding it. So I think that that's why you're not going to see it on a competing gaming console. It's going to be on the 360 and the Xbox One, and it's going to be on PC eventually. So I don't think that it's going to be a big deal because there's a lot of risk putting it across all the platforms. So I think that Microsoft is footing the bill. So I don't think that it's going to be a timed exclusive the way you're saying it. If you go back and read what Phil Spencer says on the subject, he mentions Rise and Dead Rising 3, both of which only went on to go onto PC. And he never mentions this particular installment when he says we have a time limit on it or anything like that. He says that their relationship has a time limit on it, meaning, to me, that this particular game, just like Splinter Cell Conviction, big game, usually multi-platform, only ended up on PC and Xbox 360. I think this is the same with this way, and I think that it's going to be really advantageous for the Xbox One and Xbox 360. It says, you say you aren't biased, but all your videos are always Xbox positive related news. Yeah, I have an Xbox One. I don't have a PS4. How am I going to do positive news on a console that I don't have when they haven't given me a reason to get one? Let's see. Oh, and then he goes on about the whole YouTube feedback thing. Yeah, I don't really give a shit about that. Fraser Jean says, is the Sony ecosystem becoming a hostile platform for AAA developers? Yoshida is hurting his flock to accept thousands of indies and free-to-play and to stop caring for high-quality, story-driven AAA titles. I agree. I think that it is, their ecosystem is more indie and cheap development. If you look at, whenever I brought up something about that, people were like, well, they got this first-party studio is working on this, or this first-party studio is working on that. And then you find out that you have Media Molecule just working on a shitty port of a shitty Vita game, Tearaway, that looks just like every other goddamn indie on the PS4. You know, you have Sony Santa Monica, who does God of War, and you got them doing little shitty indie games as well. So I think that, you know, I as a gamer am not into that kind of stuff. They haven't shown me one single thing that I'm really interested in. I think that they definitely, you know, have dropped the ball. Just look at the Vita. That's what I think the support that you're going to see for the PS4, you know, basically non-existent. It's indies and free-to-play and stuff like that. So let's see. Carlton LeGrant says, get your facts straight, moron. Rise of Tomb Raider is a timed exclusive. Show me where it's a timed exclusive that it's ever going to go to the PlayStation 4. Show me. You guys are taking it, what Phil Spencer said, and just kind of coming to your own conclusions. I have my doubts as to whether it's going to ever go to the PlayStation. I think it's going to stay on Xbox platforms and PC probably a year later, but I don't think it's going to go to the PlayStation 4. If you guys want the game, buy an Xbox One. It's that simple. Don't bitch about it. Don't cry about it. Don't try to talk me into your thing. If you think it's a timed exclusive, then so be it. But I don't think it's going to the PlayStation 4. Billy Nintendo says, congrats, crap. You tell it like it is. Great job. Thank you very much. Charles Munt says, congrats on the subs, bro. I was wondering if you're going to pick up Metro Redux on the Xbox One. I'm looking forward to it because they've actually reworked the games. No. I mean, I already have those games, and I already played through them. I'm not really interested in playing through them again. I mean, they're pretty good games, but, you know, it is a slow month, so I can see why people would get them. I'm just really not into it. Let's see. The Sly Gamer, he's like, oh, and as I said 5 million times, Tomb Raider is an Xbox One exclusive. So I agree. It's going to be on the Xbox 360 and probably a PC a year later. So, but I wouldn't count on it going to the PlayStation. If it was, they would have had to say something about it, or possibly Sony say something about it, and they aren't. And actually, Sony went out of their way to say that they don't have to buy exclusives outright, which is ridiculous because they have in the past. So, yeah. Let's see. Robo Seal says, I enjoy the vids. Let's see. Something about face cam so he can see the anger in my rants. I don't really rant, so I don't think I want to do. People want to see my face plastered all over the place. Let's see. Sir Parker says 6,000 Xbots compared to Angry Joe's 1.5 million smart Xbox fans. I think this is one that I replied to when I saw it because I was checking to see how the video was doing, and I responded to him. I don't think that those are Xbox fans subscribed to Angry Joe. The guy, he gets paid to do that. He gets paid a lot. So I think that it's one of those things where I don't really think that if you've watched any of his stuff, I'm not a fan. I'm not subscribed to him. I don't really watch his stuff, but I've watched a couple of things, and it seems to me like he panders a little bit to the pro PlayStation crowd. I think somebody pointed out that he made a video about Tomb Raider being exclusive to the Xbox One, but you won't see him do a video if that Dead Rising, or if Silent Hills ended up being exclusive. It's like a one-way street for most of these guys. You will never see them do a video saying, "Hey, well, why isn't this on Xbox One as well?" You only see it go the other way. And so I think that it's clear that he panders to the lowest common denominator, and I actually think that the whole angry thing was best done by the Angry Video Game Nerd. He did the best job at it. I still watch his stuff. Even his Let's Plays are funny. Angry Joe is just kind of a wannabe in my opinion, and so I don't subscribe or watch him. Let's see. Landon Williams says, "Hey, Crab Gamer, can you please do the next-gen Crybaby Gangsta Scream one time?" I don't think so. And he says, "Do you think Shenmue will get announced at TGS?" I have no idea. It would be cool if it did. Hopefully he does. William Gordon says, "Congrats, thanks." Texas Wolf's Reign says, 6,000 subs. Wow. There you have more subs than there are Xbox Ones in the world. Have a fascinating day, Crab Gamer. Rack 'em up. Huh. Interesting. So you don't think there's more than 6,000 Xbox Ones in the world when they've already come out and said they've sold more than 5 million? Huh. Interesting. So Sony fans are bad at math. I'm not surprised. Let's see. Robotic Husky says, "When do you think the next Call of Duty Zombies will be released for new gens?" I heard something about there being a zombie type game in this next one, but Treyarch's game is next year, so I think that we might see that as well. Let's see. What do we got here? Great video. Oh, Kenny Jago says, "Great video, and congrats to you and your milestone." When you mean clan, do you mean you go for game battles or just for fun? Well, now it's just for fun. Back in 2007 when I started the clan, we played competitively. We made it to the playoffs on Call of Duty 4, on Call of Duty World at War, on Black Ops. I think one year we had the best win streak ever on Call of Duty 4. It was like something like 64 games in a row or something. But now, as everybody's gotten a little bit older, some of the younger people are like at college now. Some of them have kids or whatever, got married, and so now we're just basically looking for gamers that just want to kind of chill and have fun. Slayer Ming says, "Congrats. What are some of your favorite TV shows?" I like. There's not much that I've watched that I have to catch live, but I like The Simpsons still. I've liked that show for 25 years, so that's probably my favorite. I like Futurama as well. Let me think. Yeah, I didn't watch any of The Walking Dead last year. I liked the first couple seasons of that. I like Arrow. I think that's probably one of the better TV shows on right now. So I would say those are the ones that I like Supernatural, but I don't watch a lot of TV. So, Nis621 says, "How many ponies do you slap a day?" I don't know, man. I lose count, man. I slap a lot of them, and they got to get hurt. It's got to hurt at some point. Let's see. Drone Crusher says, "Congrats on 6K, dude. My question is, why do these ponies get so ass hurt at Nintendo and Microsoft fans?" I I have no idea. I think that, there's a difference between a Sony pony and a Sony fan, and sometimes that gets lost in the mix because you have some really bad, stinky, rotten apples that ruin the whole bunch for a lot of people. You know, they don't like the fact that people might not like the same thing they do. I can remember when I first was on N4G, and people found out that I indeed had a PlayStation 3 and an Xbox 360, and they just couldn't fathom why I would bother playing a 360 if I owned both. No matter how many times I told them why, some people just can never fathom that. They just don't get it, and that's fine with me. But as far as I'm concerned, you know, it just comes down to personal preference. So. Let's see here. Madman says, good job, you deserve more. Thank you very much. Johnny Klebitz says, hey crap, congrats on the subs. I'm going to get Sunset Overdrive bundle this October. I also want to know, will we ever get to see a view of your gaming setup? Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about maybe doing something like that. I don't have a great setup, I just have I have a couple different setups. Actually, I have a retro room where I have a bunch, like about 10 different retro consoles set up. And then I have my living room area that has a TV and some of the newer consoles. And then I have another room set up in my room, actually, with, Xbox One and stuff like that. So, Kid Berserk says, have you ever played Kingdom Hearts? No. I own them, but I've never played them. Let's see. The Fall of Sony says, congrats, just keep doing what you're doing. Thanks a lot, man. It's good to see the support, man. I like it when I get the support from the people. It means a lot. Blazing Rage says, hey, is the software update 100% confirmed? Which software update? I'm not sure which one you mean. The Xbox One one? I think so. I don't know. Mr. Interface 5 says, congrats on the milestone. My question is, what do you think Microsoft should do regarding new IPs? I think they should continue what they're doing, building up some of the ones they're working on. If you look at Sunset Overdrive and Quantum Break and Scalebound, I like what they're doing. I like the mix of newer stuff and the older stuff and going back into the back catalog. I'm excited for that. So I think they're doing a really good job at doing a good mix of everything. I think there's a fine line, and so let's see. Mad Dubstep says, can we just calm down and stop talking about console wars and talk about actual games? I talk about games a lot, and I do at least 2 reviews a week. So people can always just check those out if they like them. Jose Polanco says, what's your real name? Fred. People usually just call me Fred or Frederick. Max Riley 2007 says, why have you not noticed the dead zones on the Xbox One controller on FPS games? Come on, man. It needs fixed. Speak up. I haven't noticed it. I've seen some people bring this up, and whenever I try to use my controller, I have absolutely no problems. So, I play, Call of Duty Ghosts and Forza 5 and Titanfall and, Battlefield 4. I have real precision on that, man. I don't think that I'm not sure, everybody's different. Maybe it's something that people get in their heads and find it. I don't know. I haven't found it yet. If I did, I would say something about it, but as far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Jacob Adamson says, what consoles do you have? Have you? Oh, Jesus, I've owned so many. I have a PlayStation 1, a PlayStation 2, a PlayStation 3, a PSP, I have a NES, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, GameCube, Wii, Wii U. I have a Master System, a Sega Genesis, a Sega Saturn, a Dreamcast. I have an Xbox, an Xbox 360, an Xbox One. I have a Game Gear, a 3DS, a DS, a DSi. Think what the hell else do I have? A TurboGrafx 16, an Atari 2600. I think I got some more somewhere too. It's hard always thinking just off the top of my head what I have because I don't have all of them hooked up, only some of them. So, but yeah, I enjoy gaming. It's what I do. D4RK says, got 2 questions. Why do Sony ponies come to your channel? What game will you get will I give Game of the Year 2014 to? Um, I don't know why Sony Pony's coming to my channel. To be honest with you, to be just 100% real, um, I don't go to people's channels that I don't like. If it's like I don't go to pro Sony channels or the channels that bash Xbox because I don't care to hear that, or you know what I'm saying. And I've never disliked a YouTube video in my life, so I don't understand it. I guess when people strictly will subscribe to me just to dislike something I do, that seems kind of petty, and I kind of feel sorry for those people. Um, so I'm not sure why they come here. Obviously I say, hey, if you don't like it, why watch? It makes sense to me that if you don't like something, you're not going to watch it. But I guess I'm smarter than them, or I don't know what the deal is. So, Game of the Year is difficult story, as I haven't played everything yet. So, it's hard saying. It's hard to speculate, really. I'm thinking Sunset Overdrive looks damn good, though. I don't think many people would argue with that game if it were to win. But as far as I'm concerned, that's leading the pack for the games that I'm excited about. So, I'm looking forward to that. Let's see. Heavy Hitter says, congrats. Thanks a lot. Christopher Person says, I know Quantum Break is going to be amazing. Remedy has never made a bad game. I completely agree with you. Alan Wake might have been my favorite game of last gen. So, yeah. Infrared Beam says, congrats, bro. Now it's time to flip that number and double it. Thanks a lot. Infrared Beam is another one of those guys that got an Xbox One and started his own YouTube channel, and he does good content. So, yeah, I'm always appreciative of those guys. Let's see. I'm just going to call you Jed. You stated in one of your videos, you say, how can Sony fanboys comment on a system they don't even own? Why do you go against your own statement and make video after video of anti-Sony news? And why do you never correct your videos when the news will literally change the day? You know what? I've never actually said that the PS4 was bad. So I'm not sure what you're talking about. A lot of PlayStation 4 fanboys will state it as fact that the Xbox One is trash, it's weak, when they don't have one. I've never said that the PS4 was weak or bad. I just say that it doesn't have any games, and I also report in the news when Sony fucks up, because a lot of the big sites won't. And I'll continue to do that. I think that some of you guys don't like that because, obviously my channel grows and it puts a little bit more of a voice out there, and there's other people that will pick up on some of the stuff and report it themselves. You can't sit there and hide it. You know what I mean? If Sony fucks up, some of the big sites won't cover it. I will. And I'm not the news media. If they change it or whatever, I'm not forced to change anything. I'm not a paid journalist. I do videos, and they're for entertainment. If you don't like it, don't watch it. It's really, really simple. I don't know how many times I can say it. If you don't like something, why do you watch it? Let's see. Okay, then 22 says, how scared or how much did your heartbeat go up the first time you played Resident Evil when those dogs come jumping through those windows? That was my most favorite gaming moment. When was your favorite gaming moment? And what's my favorite character in Resident Evil? I was just a kid, man, when the when the first one came out, so it was pretty scary. But even as an adult, I played through the first Resident Evil when they redid it on the DS, and those dogs jumped through there, and I remember like letting out a little scream. I think I dropped my DS or something. So yeah, that was a hell of a moment. Even all those years later, my favorite Resident Evil character is probably Chris Redfield, or though it might be Jill. I'm not sure. I like them both. Let's see, the Game Filter says, the Crapaholics want to know, how many Sony ponies have I slayed in 2014? Man, so many, it's hard saying. I don't keep count, but there's been a lot of butthurt, man. They go out of their way to message me on Twitter, or even the Facebook group, or whatever. But whenever somebody goes out of their way to message me, I think that it's funny, and that's a win for me. People always notice that I never get pissed off. I'll sling some shit back at you, but I won't get pissed off, because when I get pissed off, I'd be out of my element. I like to get other people pissed off. I think when I'm really calm, when people try to bash me or make videos about me, it pisses them off even more. You know what I'm saying? They think, oh, if I'm gonna mudsling or I'll say this about him, I don't care. You know, I seriously do not care what people say about me. You know, I think people care about what I have to say, and I care very little to none what they have to say, and I think it pisses people off. Moderate Slur says, Raffle, probably the most insecure Xbox fanboy I have ever seen heard. Only timed exclusives, GG nerds. Huh. So I'm an insecure Xbox fanboy, huh? That's cool. And only timed exclusives, huh? That's interesting too. We'll see, I guess. Um, let's see. Spider-Man Fantastic Four says, "What's your favorite Tomb Raider game?" The last one, Tomb Raider. I have that on Xbox One, Xbox 360, and PS3. Absolutely awesome game. Cartwright Franklin says, "You good at what you do, inform about Xbox users and shit over Sony. This channel is biased as fuck towards Microsoft, but it's really compelling. You are succeeding because you're adding fuel to the console wars." Um, yeah. I mean, sometimes it's easy, you know, like the Sony fanboys aren't the smartest group, so they're easy to kind of control. Um, you know, that's why some of the other YouTubers have big channels when they hate on Xbox, because even the ones that are just completely fake, and there's a lot of fake ones. I'm going to tell it this way to a lot of the Sony fans. A lot of the channels that you watch that hate on Xbox, they probably don't really hate the Xbox. They just know that you're stupid enough to go there and like their videos and give them views for hating on the Xbox. A lot of them message me. They try to get me to do fake beef videos with them, or to get in mudslinging back and forth just for views and hits and subscribers. I'm not into that. You know, I like to keep it real. I feel the way I do about these consoles, and I won't lie to you guys. So that's the important thing. From my perspective, I'll give opinion pieces. I'll do all that kind of stuff, but I'm not going to lie and be fake. You know, so yeah. Let's see. Jesse Pecora says, "How does it feel to ride that micro?" I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I prefer the Xbox One because it has games. Is that what you're trying to say? I don't know. Boba Fett says, "Am I a Sony pony for liking PS4 over Xbone?" I mean, I'm not dissing on Xbone. I have both. It's just my preferred console. I don't care. You can like what you want, man. But I have found that people that call it an Xbone traditionally don't have an Xbox One, and they probably don't like it. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know who you are. So are you a Sony pony? I have no idea. If you go around and call it Xbone and say 720p and all this kind of shit, you probably are a Sony pony. So yeah. Yomoflow says, "Congrats, bro, on your success and more to come." Thanks, bro. Cool dude. I played some Destiny beta with you. Awesome gamer. Slimecraft says, "I like PS4. Does that mean you hate me or something, or maybe even want to murder me? I never said anything bad about the Xbox One." Bro, I don't even know who the hell you are. So why would I hate you? I know people that have a PS4. I don't give a shit what people buy. They can do what they want with their own money. For me personally, there's no sense in buying a PS4 right now. It has no games that I'm interested in. So, let's see. Skill Shooter says, "Congrats and keep up the good work." Thanks. Arius Loco DF says, "Xbox One, it's the best console ever made." I hear you. B-Man Beast says, "Why don't you debate Rated D for 6,000 sub special?" I think I already covered that. Man, I'm not really interested in having that kind of channel. So, yeah, I mean, I appreciate you checking out my stuff, but I'm really not interested in doing anything like that. Let's see. Ernie Lama says, "Do you think the last console generation cycle that Sony will own the PlayStation brand?" Potentially. I don't think that they're going to do another console or handheld. I think that they want to do like that whole streaming thing. Yeah, and he says, "Congratulations on the subs. Definitely going to grow a lot more." I hope so, you know. Let's see. Doug Myers says, "If you cut out the fanboy BS and took the PS4's dick out of your mouth, do you think you could grow this channel more? Or are you satisfied with an Xbox One controller firmly up your ass and 6,000 subs?" I say PS4's dick because all you talk about is Sony and PS4. You know, this year, when I started the podcast with Next Gen, which was this year, believe it or not, I had 1,500 subs, and now I have almost 6,500 subs. So I think that it grows. I think something on the average of pretty close to 1,000 a month. So I don't think that it's going to stop anytime soon. I think that people like what I do. I think that I give people, regardless of what they want, whether it be news or opinion or rumor or reviews or previews, I think I give it a little bit of something to everybody. If I've got to do 3 videos a day, I will. That's just how I am. It doesn't really matter. And I refuse to change what I do for anybody. I mean, you guys can try to stop me. Try to. In fact, I'm daring you. If any of you Sony fanboys think you can stop me, do it. Do it. Come on. You guys got nothing. I'll continue to do what I want. And you idiots will still keep watching and putting money in my pocket because you're stupid. Okay. Lee the Hitman says, congrats, crap. You're a strong voice for our Xbox community. What do you think of the job Phil Spencer is doing so far? And let us know what titles you heard about coming in the future. You hardly hear anyone mention. Man, Phil Spencer's the man, isn't he? I think that he's might be one of the first people since the original Xbox came out that actually has that gaming blood. You know what I mean? Like he's actually cares about the gamers. He's a cool guy. I think that he has a lot on his shoulders. I really want to see. He likes platformers, so I really want to see like stuff like Voodoo Vince or Banjo-Kazooie or possibly a new Conker game. So I wouldn't mind that. I think he's doing a great job, and I think he really likes those old school platformers. And so I think that we might actually see some of those in the future. And so I'm really excited for the option or the potential that's going to be there for that. Let's see. Curtis Pontu says, well done, mate. My gamer tag is Spoonie82. All right, man. Mine's MOH Space Crap Gamer. Let's see. This first time in Denver says, congrats, bro. Thanks. Gaming Ranger says, do you like Angry Joe? Nope. I'm not subscribed. I don't like that. I think that it's like, he does well for himself with that character. And like pandering to people, but outside of that, I'm not really a fan. So, Gaming Ranger says, I really think I was that 6,000 sub last night. If you were, thanks. I'm like a couple hundred past that now. 84 Neilbone says, what 2 YouTubers do you dislike the most? I don't dislike anybody. If I don't like something, I'm not going to watch it. So, I think to say, which ones do I dislike? Really none. If people always come to me and say, hey, did you see this or that? And I'm like, no, because if it's something I'm not interested in, I'm not going to watch it. So Mega King of Noobs says a lot of hoove clicking in the comment. He loves it. Hey, I love it too. I think it's funny. People get really bent out of shape and take this stuff really seriously. Parker Burzit says, the Sony ponies give you crap all the time because you speak more fondly of Xbox. What is your thought on how much Sony fans have changed from the time of last-gen console war to the next-gen console war? I think that a lot of the people that speak now and that are really the ones that probably just started liking Sony with the PS3. They felt backed in the corner. They spent $600 for this piece of shit console that was really like the biggest pain in the ass to use. And now they feel like, hey, the tides have turned or whatever. So I think that the last 2, console war or the console generations for Sony have kind of produced this kind of group of people. So, I'm not a real big fan of it anyway. So Iron Wolf says, congratulations on 6K. No problem, thank you. Gary Hines says, congratulations on 6,000. Well deserved. Thank you. The A-Train says, LOL, he surpassed Next Gen 720. Now the real entertainment begins. Not really sure I catch your meaning there. I mean, we're not in competition. Stu Jersey says, what happened to Warriorwart's channel, man? Warriorwart is old school. He doesn't get why he can't enjoy every console. Like, he really plays everything. He plays Wii U, Xbox One, PS4. But he doesn't understand, I think, anyway, that people would hate on him because he likes the Xbox One. He gets a lot of shit because he likes the Xbox One too, even though he likes everything pretty much equally. And if you ever watch the podcast we do, that's basically what he says, So he got tired of all the bullshit. and just he's not doing a YouTube channel anymore. He's just doing like the podcasts and stuff. He basically got tired of all the bullshit. He just wants to game and talk about games a little bit, but he doesn't like the bullshit side of things. He doesn't understand like the fanboy thing, but other than that, I mean, yeah. So I wouldn't. His channel is probably not going to come back. Alpha Arjananan says, "Well, incoming ponies. Crap, if you like some 2 to 4 of the Sony exclusives, would you buy a PS4? He says he likes 3 so far, and he needs to raise money for them. Already has an Xbox One. You know, if I liked 4 games from it, certainly I would buy one. You know, I have no... let's just say this. If one were to come, like, say Silent Hills was exclusive. It's not, but let's say it was. I'm not going to do a petition for it. I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to threaten developers. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to buy a PS4. That's all it comes down. Let's see. Jay Long says, do you have kids and are they aware of your channel? Yes, I do, and no, they're not aware of the channel. Showstopper says, congrats on 6,000 subs. And I'm like, hell yeah, bro. Thanks a lot. If you guys haven't checked out Showstopper's channel, his is funny as hell. Berserker says, just let us know ahead of time if you're making a troll video. That could cut out a lot of unnecessary drama. The reviews are spot on, I'll give you that. I don't do troll videos, actually. Just because it's something negative about Sony or positive for the Xbox doesn't make it troll or untrue. You just don't like what I have to hear. It doesn't make it a troll video. I consider what I do to, you know, I just do my own thing, you know, and I'll continue to do it. And I have different playlists. So if you like reviews, then just watch the reviews. I do 2 a week at least. Let's see. Let's see. One cough B says, congrats, man. Do you think Microsoft will announce Shenmue 3 at TGS? I have no idea. I think it would be cool if they did. Hirto says, what animes do you watch? If you watch any, what would you recommend? Man, I don't watch any anime. I just don't. I don't get that stuff. It's weird. It kind of freaks me out. Mohammed G says, congrats. Who did you look up to most growing up as a kid? It can be a family member, celebrity, friend, or anyone else. You know, it was my dad, obviously, and I think John Lennon. And probably Elvis a little bit. You know, I like some of the old school people, you know, like John Wayne, even though they were all dead before I was born, but you know, you can like, you know, learn about what people do and then kind of look up to that as you grow up. So 360 Gotti says, does my complete lack of respect towards ponies make you laugh? Great channel. Keep up the good work. Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny as long as you keep it you know, not racist and things like that. I'm cool with it, you know. Let's see. Sorana something says, you have succeeded to manipulate 6,000 people. Hope there are no adults here because the only explanation that I see are children who sub. People, please open your eyes and think with your mind. Check everything that you hear. Yeah, I agree. You got to check stuff that you hear because, you know, there's a lot of misinformation out there. You know, if you go to places like N4G or NeoGAF or whatever, there's a lot of misinformation in those places. So luckily you have places like my channel where I put the links in the description. Otherwise I'll clearly state if something is if it's an opinion or rumor or what have you. So yeah, but thanks for giving me another click and whatnot. Let's see. David Power says, I'll have a game with you when Destiny comes out. I'm on your friends list. All right, man. Appreciate it. Justin Ross says, I'm going to confess. Sometimes I don't watch your vids crap. I just come by to look at the comment section. Do I take screenshots to use for later? Possibly. Yeah, apparently a lot of people do that. The Savory 5 says, great job, crap. Love the content. Oh, yeah. And what do you think of Destiny? It feels kind of bland to me. I like it. I'm getting it day one. I have it pre-ordered already. Gamer Xeon says, what do you think about getting Alan Wake games remade on the Xbox One? I don't know. I don't think it needs to be remade. I think that I would just like a sequel. Let's see. Francisco says, what do you think about Tomb Raider being a timed exclusive? I think that it's not going to the PlayStation consoles at all. I think their partnership is timed, meaning this particular game, but I don't think that Rise of the Tomb Raider is actually going to make it on a PlayStation platform. Black Chicks Rule says, predictions, any big surprises from Microsoft at TGS? I'm going to do a video on that, so stay tuned. Orlando Diaz says, will you ever conquer Manliness Island because you're almost there? Question, how much wood could a woodchuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I have no idea. Let's see. Eddie Gooner HD Archer says, what was your opinion on Bully and the possibility of maybe a Bully 2? I like Bully. I thought it got a little bit boring. I never was able to finish it. I still have it on 360. I got, I think, three chapters in or something. Yeah. Alexis Martinez says, congrats, thank you. William Wright says, how much gamer score do you have? I'm almost at 80,000. Balmy Venus says, rack 'em up. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, and that looks like that might be just about it on here. Let me see here. Someone says, are you a Kingdom Hearts fan? I haven't played it. I definitely, it seems like I want to play that other Kingdom Hearts game. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in the new one. So I wouldn't mind playing through the old ones if I have a chance. Let's see. Let's see. Primetime says, hate is a strong word, and if you so-called hated them, you'll never buy their system, but we know you will. Yeah, dude, like I said, I don't hate them. I'm not a big fan of their practices that they do. I feel like they do a lot of like sleight of hand and things like that. I don't think they have anything I'm interested in now, but that's not to say a year or two from now they won't. So yeah, definitely keep things open. Let's see. Rosario says, congrats on over 6,000. Thanks. Let's see. Ghost something or other says, what if Microsoft and Sony sold premium PS4s and Xbox Ones with more RAM, better processors, and graphics cards? Would you be pissed? Would the fans of both companies be pissed? You wouldn't be able to do that because what happens is it'd be too confusing. You have to make two different types of games. This is why, like, when there used to be rumored that the Xbox 360 would get a Blu-ray drive, they could never do that because what would happen is you'd have to have two different types of games. One that had the Xbox with the Blu-ray drive and one with just the regular DVD drive. It'd be too confusing. It'd be a disaster. That's why you could never do that. So yeah, same kind of situation. Let's see. B Diddy says, congrats on 6K. Why is it that ponies can't get over the fact that people like the Xbox One? I have all three current gen consoles and get a lot of crap for like the Xbox One over PS4. I just think that they feel like it's like some kind of amazing thing. And the funny thing is right, they're like, they love their indies and their free-to-play and stuff like that, right? And then when it does come to the Xbox One, like these indies and stuff, and you play them and they're not good, like Warframe is going to come to Xbox on September 2nd, and that's the game all the ponies are like, Warframe, yeah, man, woo, woo, Warframe, yeah, we got this game, or Outlast, woo, and then you play these games and they're just crap. And it's like they get exposed for it, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody can, like, like, I'm just saying, as far as I'm concerned, a lot of these indies and stuff are just pure garbage. I don't have any idea why people just can't let you like it. I don't know, I have no clue. Let's see. This guy, his name is it ends in 702JC, says, congrats, got my Xbox One, I'm loving it. I'm the voice of the people, keep it up. Damn right, man. Let's see. 84 Neilbone says, love your Q&As, crap, good work, never fail to answer my question and do it well. I should have asked a better one, but there is next time. You should do more of these. I do these like every 1,000 or so. Trey Man says, congrats. And he says, can you help with our petition to get the Kingdom Hearts remade? Yeah, you guys can see there's a link that this guy, Tremaine McNeil, put up in the comment section to get the Square Enix to put these HD remakes on the Xbox consoles. Irish Chap says, crap, is the new Silent Hill come to Xbox One? I hear it only coming to PS4 and PC. No, I hear it's coming to. It's a multi-platform game. You know. I also heard it might not come till 2016 or 2017. So, um, let's see. Rosario says, "Good job. Love the videos. I play on PS4 as well as Xbox One. I've always been a multi-console owner since the early '80s. These young kids have no clue about anything, and they think they know it all. The threats to hate. It's really sad. I agree. I've been gaming since the '80s. I think it's kind of funny." Gaming Ranger says, "I hate Angry Joe." I don't hate the guy. I just think that his I don't know. I think his stuff's not very entertaining. Um, let's see. Ghost in the Player says, "Why are PS fanboys the worst of all hypocrites?" I don't know. I think that some of them are. I think that there can be hypocrites on both sides. I do think they are the worst. But that's not all fans. That's just the fanboys. So, Gaming Ranger says, "Do you hate Wii U?" Hell no, man. I own a Wii U and like 20 some games on it. So, let's see. The Sly Gamer said, "Whoever said Xbox One is the best console ever made? Yeah, sure. PS2 is the best, followed by NES, then the 360. PC is king of all, but PC isn't a console." I think it's opinion. I actually don't think the PS2 was the best console ever made. I think that it appealed to a lot of different people, mainly because it was the cheapest DVD player at the time. There's a lot of different reasons, but for me, probably the 360 would probably be the best console because I think it revolutionized so many different things. I don't think the PS2 did enough to actually revolutionize anything. But that again, that's just opinion. Let's see. MJ Xbox says, "I just joined in. Sorry if you already answered the question. Why people just don't understand that X1 is only in 13 countries and Sony's in 100. So, of course, it's outselling." Yeah, I think I've already covered that. 13 countries, it's going to be, they're going to launch in, I think, 26 more this year. So, you know. The Sly Gamer says, "Rated D and RXL are fake. I trust crap infinitely times more than those fake losers." Yeah, I don't even know who those guys are. I mean, I know who the one guy is. He like tries to challenge me to the base. I don't know who the other guy is though. So, Blazing Chicken says, "So why don't you ever make videos when Microsoft messes up? You gotta at least be fair." You know what? I think that I did a video on the numbers a couple months ago after their price cut or whatever. If they were to mess up blatantly, I think I would do one on it. I don't really see a reason that they've messed up. I think they've actually been doing a really damn good job this year. Let's see. G Money says, "What happened to Big Gamer Small Talk?" We're doing that tomorrow night at I think at 7 Eastern. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. We had a little bit of a scheduling conflict and things like that. Luis Carlos says, "Do you read Mr. X Media blog?" No, that guy's a total fraud. Let's see. Max Riley, 2007 says, "You hate Sony because they made a better console." The end. Not really. I mean, did they make a more powerful console out of the box? Yeah. Did they make a more powerful console out of the box last generation? Yeah. And I don't hate them. I just they don't have anything that really appeals to me. All the power in the world doesn't do any good if all you're getting is just games I'm not interested in. You know what I mean? It would just, if I had one right now, it would literally just be sitting on the shelf because there's nothing for me to play. So I'm not going to buy one until there's something for me to play. Wouldn't I want to buy? Why would I spend $500 on a console if it wasn't as good, if I didn't want those games more? Hopefully that makes some kind of sense to you. Like, I could have bought a PS4. I can buy one anytime I want. If I hate Sony for making a better console, why would I not want the better console if it truly was? Like, that thinking is totally ignorant and stupid. I bought the console that was best for me, that had the games that I wanted, and that's the bottom line. Let's see. Slimecraft says, "How do you like the PS3 but not PS4? The PS4 is a mass improvement over the PS3. Let's see. I don't actually like the PS3 that much. I think it has some good games, but it almost punishes you for wanting to play them. The PS4 doesn't have any games. That's why I don't like it right now. You know, I would get one if they ever came out with some decent games. You know. Let's see. Gaming Addict says, "What do you think about the new Halo Wars 2?" I would love a Halo Wars 2. Hopefully they use Connect with it. Uvito says, "Don't you think devs should start boycotting PlayStation fans for the way they act?" Um, you know, maybe, I don't know. Let's see. Hey, crap, being a game with DRM, do you think Destiny will be marketed as an X1 exclusive in the future because Xbox Live has probably the best online service? No, I just think that these companies are doing a good job um, of fooling some people, I guess. A lot of these games are online only. The Crew, Destiny, Titanfall, um, you know, The Division. These games are all going to be online only. You're going to see more and more of this, which means that they're getting around that whole DRM thing anyway. So all the DRM that people were pissed off about, you know, just they're getting screwed anyway. They're getting DRM. They just don't know it. You know, the people that are champion PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now, that's all DRM stuff. So let's see. The Sly Gamer says TGS hype. Nintendo won E3, Microsoft won Gamescom. And without even a think of it, Sony will win TGS. Actually, I disagree with that. I think Microsoft is going for the Triple Crown. They easily won E3, easily won Gamescom, and I think they're going to easily win TGS. I don't think that, I don't think Sony has much to show. I think that it's going to be more the same, to be honest with you. Man, this thing's going on and on, but I'm pretty much, let's see, Sly Gamer says, hey, can you do some Let's Plays? That would be cool. I got some Let's Plays, man. Don't you guys check my lists? I got like 4 or 5 of them up so far. I'm like doing some more of them, but yeah, I got some up. Let's see, do you agree Killzone Shadowfall was a massive fail? It's hard to say. I think that those games are all pretty bad, so are you going to get Master Chief Collection? Yes, already paid for it. What game are you looking forward to playing? A bunch of them, man, like Sunset Overdrive, Quantum Break, Assassin's Creed Unity, you know. What's my favorite game on Xbox One? Probably Killer Instinct. Are you going to do more game reviews? I do 2 a week. Do you guys have to realize that I have to play through these games, and then it's a kind of a process to do the reviews. So, yeah. So anyway, man, this thing's gone on for over an hour, and so I'm gonna get going. I appreciate all the, everybody that's subbed and watches my stuff. You know what I mean? Look, if you don't like something, don't watch it. I'm not trolling or anything when I say this. If you don't want to hear what I have to say, then by all means don't watch it. I'm not one of those people that isn't going to ban people if they piss me off. I ban people all the time. For some reason, YouTube's being weird and it like unbanned everybody. I don't know. So I've been having fun going through and banning people again, and I forgot how many that I actually had banned because I want to keep kind of a trouble-free, I guess. Drama-free. That's why I don't do beef videos or anything like that. I stick to gaming news, gaming notes, gaming rumors, speculation, previews, reviews, let's plays. I do those kind of things. There's no drama on my channel. As much drama as you guys want to think that I do, check it out, man. I don't. There's no drama videos. There's no beef videos. I just don't care about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? This is the thing. To the people that would come to me and say, oh, crappy, this person's saying this about you, or this person's saying that about you. Look, this is the bottom line with the haters. The haters care about what I have to say. Obviously. That's why they keep coming back. What they don't understand is that I absolutely don't care what they have to say. That's not how it works. I don't give a shit what they have to say. They obviously care greatly about what I think and what I say on my channel, but I don't care what they think or what they say. I don't care. I do my own thing. I'm not going to change how I do my channel for anybody. You know, if you don't like it, unsub. Don't watch. By all means, do what I do. You know, well, I mean, if you don't like something, why would you watch it? That's what I'm gonna leave you guys with. And you know, thanks for watching. You know, I really appreciate all the love and support. I'm gonna continue to keep going. Um, I'm really digging it. You know, I got a lot of stuff in mind. I'm gonna be doing a lot more Let's Plays and like hidden gems and things like that. So I got a lot of great ideas. I might even start taking some requests for games, for game reviews again. So yeah, you know, I'm sorry at this point in time though, man. I have to be honest. I never thought this channel would get this big. You know, the days of me going down and replying to every comment on every video are probably far and few between. You know, I mean, I try to stay in there as long as I can. But honestly, when you get like 600, 700 comments per video, it's almost impossible to go through and answer every one of them. So if you guys really want to get a hold of me, look up Crappy Reviews on Facebook, send me a message there. Add me on Xbox Live, MOH space Crap Gamer. Send me a message on there. Head to my, if you're looking to game with me, head to my clan site, www.teammoh, that's TEAMMOH.com, and you know, you can sign up there or whatever, and we can game. You know, I'll be looking for people on Horizon 2, on Sunset Overdrive, on you know, Destiny, of course. You know, I'm still looking for people to game on Titanfall and things like that. So if you guys want a game, man, I'm there. You know, and I want to thank real quick, like Next Gen, Showstopper, Worrywart, you know, Big Kahuna, let's see, Iron Wolf, Bella Rise, Anchorman, Darian is King, Kid Smooth. You know, I'm trying not to leave anybody out. If I left somebody out, man, that's my bad. But Microbox of X, you know, all these guys are like cool guys and girls, and they do a really good job with their channels, and most of them have their own channels, so check them out if you will. When I started this, it was basically me and Next Gen, and you know, it was a tough road to hoe if you liked Xbox. So hopefully you guys look at us as kind of a voice, or you know, and enjoy what we do, because that's the reason we do it, man. So I appreciate it. Make sure you guys rack them up, man. My voice is about shot. Thanks for watching, man. Crap Gamer out.